Tesla Note is about these crystals that contain the notes slash invention slash ideas of Nikola Tesla that he sealed away because humanity wasn't ready for the information contained in them. These little crystals all have different powers. We don't see all of the crystals in the actual show, but the show itself wraps up its whole plot. So it is a complete 13-episode series that tells the entirety of the story. There is some implications that there might be future adventures that some of the characters could be going on afterwards, but the whole narrative is based around the idea of this spy organization working for Japan, trying to acquire these crystals. Our main characters are some guy that was recruited because he was really good at fighting and physically fit, and more notably, the daughter of the granddaughter of the leader of the organization, who has been trained to acquire these crystals literally since birth. She is the most likable character, I would say, probably in the show, even though I think, just about every character. There is a surprising amount of depth to these characters, and many of them go through several character arcs throughout the entire show. Regardless, I do appreciate that she's a sort of lonely teenage girl who has, due to her grandfather's influence, been forced to be isolated her entire life, but also she's been trained to be an unstoppable ninja killing machine, but also, she's a teenage girl that kind of really doesn't want to be doing any of this, and she sort of acts through these three lenses. And it is worth noting that despite being a killing machine, she actually only kills like 2 people the entire show, and the first time she does it, she feels really fucking bad about it. And I actually appreciate that the show was willing to go into this sort of depression arc with her, where she's like, oh my god, I can't believe I just murdered that guy. And everyone's like, oh, you didn't really kill that guy. And I'm like, she definitely killed it. She definitely killed that guy. Don't lie to her. She killed that guy so hard. Regardless, doesn't matter about that. They're also being countered out by the CIA, led by the Americans, which are an interesting cast of characters right there. And they are also being competed against a group called a Small House, or the name is like in Spanish. It's like una casta or something like that, which leads into a sort of joke. The show itself, it manages to be a pretty solid sort of spy thriller, but it manages to also integrate a good sense of comedy and levity to it. It never gets overly serious, but when it does get serious, it manages to be impressively in line with itself. And it manages to, as far as the spy fiction functions, have a good amount of like plot twists. I wasn't expecting the double agent plot twist, but it wasn't the biggest surprise. But I certainly wasn't expecting the other double agent plot twist. When it happened twice, I was like, oh my fucking god. So the show isn't afraid to sort of turn things on an axle and sort of alter with your perceptions on it. As far as the animation goes, this is a 3D anime, and it is one of the best looking 3D anime I've ever seen. I wouldn't put it on the level of D4DJ, but it does legitimately look better than a lot of 2D animation I have seen. I do understand why some people are reluctant to watch 3D anime, and to be honest, I can't fault you for it. I do think 3D animation is a bad direction for the anime industry as a whole, but when someone's doing it right, I gotta call it out, and I gotta give Tesla Note its flowers. The show itself looks pretty damn good throughout the entire runtime. There are some consistency issues with the fight choreography, and during this poor choreography, some of the animation can get a little lacking in that regard, but most of the time the show looks very good. Also, as far as the writing goes, the main character is sort of introduced as being this like ultimate fighter character, and she's it's very inconsistent. Like, her ability to kick your ass is dependent on the scene she is in any given moment, because sometimes she's the greatest fighter in the show, and then sometimes she's getting thrown around by guys like who admittedly are like twice her size, but still not super consistent. I will also say her emotional state isn't necessarily consistent, so I guess you could blame it on that. Regardless, Tesla Note was a actual surprise. It was a pleasant surprise, and it was enjoyable start to finish. And again, it is a complete story, so it's one of those where I don't need or necessarily want more Tesla Note. I'm perfectly satisfied with what I received, and it's just an all-around good show. Twitch and Discord in the description. I've been Sacrobolic. You're Envoy of Hope. Bye-bye.